Rebecca Brizi. This is my corner. I am a consultant, and we looked recently at the difference between what a client wants and what a client needs, focusing on understanding what a client actually wants and how that is within their area of expertise. And we must defer to our clients to truly understand what they want beyond just the application of our product or service. Nobody wants a pen. They want to be able to write. But client wants are not quite that simple because, of course, humans are so complex. It's worth delving a little bit deeper and differentiating between client wants and client behaviors. I've said that as service providers, as the vendors, we often feel that we have to tell clients what they want, help them understand that. But the reality is clients do know what they want. However, those conversations still can be complex. A big part of that lost in translation happens because of the client behaviors that we have to add to this whole mix of interaction. Clients do know what they want, but it's not always easy to articulate, and it's not always easy to separate the immediate and the pressure and the sensations and the moods of the moment from the actual big picture and long-term goal. This is why that consultative approach that you do take but never talk about wants you to keep asking those questions to get really down to the root. You want to dig through the layers of what is the problem that the client needs to solve? How did that problem exhibit itself? What actually happened? And why did that thing happen? Here you're working through those layers of what the client might actually be asking of you to understand the full situation the client is operating in. You also want to dig through the client behaviors and what might be influencing the specifics that they're asking you, the thing that they think they need. Understand what is influencing their state of mind. This could be a whole conversation about human psychology, which of course I am not qualified to give, but there are some fairly standard behaviors that clients fall into, and it's worth at least recognizing what those might be, being aware of what can drive that client behavior. For example, herd behavior. Because everybody is doing this thing, I should also be doing this thing. Everybody's doing this thing and they're so successful. Everybody's doing this other thing and they're so happy. Therefore, if I do the thing, I will be successful and happy. But that doesn't focus the individual business in their own set of resources, their own ideal goals, their own target market. It does not take into account what is actually unique to this business. Is there a way to stand out? Is there a reason to do things differently? Let's make the decision for the business, not for what everybody else is doing. There's the notion of framing. At the moment when this thing happened, I was in this particular mood. Or at the moment when this thing happened, I was drinking a cappuccino. Ergo, cappuccinos are bad because that thing that happened was bad. Our experiences get framed in everything else that's happening around us, and we sometimes make these associations that are erroneous. That's a very basic understanding of framing. I'm sure there's a lot more complexity actually going on there. But as a service provider, what you want to be aware of is what are the circumstances that might be influencing your client's thought process or behavior, but that actually have nothing to do with the situation at hand. There's plain old fear, panic, impulse. If I don't do this right away, then something terrible is going to happen. Or if I do this at all incorrectly, something terrible is going to happen. Fear makes it difficult to make rational decisions. And people can be feeling fearful even if they don't look fearful. If you're dealing with business owners, there's always that latent fear in the back of their heads that one wrong decision could really harm their whole business. If you're dealing with middle management, there's always that latent fear that one wrong decision could cost them their job. Everybody has a fear associated with any major decision, and as a service provider, you are in the business of altering a decision. Buying anything is a decision not to buy something else, or is a decision to do the specific thing. Understand if there is a fear factor behind your client's behavior, if you have to overcome the sense of panic or dread or concern so that you can be having a conversation that is more rational than emotional. You can be, again, looking at that big picture and long term. That merely scratches the surface of all the client behaviors that a clinical psychologist could actually tell you about. What I want you to take away from this video is the understanding that there are always external circumstances that can be influencing how your client is speaking to you, what they're asking you for. Go back to those initial 3 questions. What is the problem we're solving? How did the problem exhibit itself? And why did that thing happen? Focus on what is real and focus on what you can control. Human emotion does not fall into that latter category. To a hammer, all problems look like a nail. Well, if you're a consultant, you're not a hammer. You're the whole hardware store. We can work as generalists with our clients and solve the problems that we can solve and point them to the resources they need to solve their other problems. Don't be a hammer. Take on the role of understanding, going deeper, and working through the client behaviors to really get to the root of the problem. Your homework today is to consider what might be influencing your clients or prospects when they're speaking to you. This could depend greatly on the type of service that you provide as a consultant, or if you are a coach, or if you are a different type of freelancer. What is the situation your clients find themselves in when they are speaking with you, when they come to you to present the problem and in search of a solution? And what could be influencing the way that they think about that problem and the way that they would make a decision? Yeah. Humans are tough, and decision-making is difficult. And the trick is to always focus on what you can control. And for guidance on doing that, I offer courses on decision-making. On Udemy, you can find one comprehensive course that goes into depth on one specific framework for decision-making, and then looks at several other popular decision-making frameworks and how they can work together. On Skillshare, which is a subscription website, there are 2 separate courses, one on the in-depth framework and the other on 6 different models. And again, you can look at those and see how they could function all together. The point is not to follow one framework or another. The point is to get the tools so you can make decisions that work for you. Enjoy, make good decisions, and I will see you at the next video. Bye.